The red wine dripped from my hair onto the white marble floor. Each drop a small explosion of humiliation. 23 people watched. 23 people laughed. And my husband? He was laughing the hardest. Can't even pour wine right, Decker said. Hold his phone up, recording every second of my destruction. This is going viral, boys. I stood there, drenched, silent. The Chardonnay I'd spent 6 hours cooking sat cold on the table. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. Because in that moment, standing in our Calabasas mansion with wine running down my designer dress, I made a promise to myself. He would lose everything, and he'd never see it coming. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this really started. Because trust me, you need to understand who I was before that night, before the wine, before the revenge, before I became someone even I didn't recognize. Hey, before we dive deeper, if you ever felt invisible in your own relationship or watched someone you love show a completely different face to the world than the one you see at home, hit that like button and stick around because this story gets wild. Subscribe if you want more true stories that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about love and loyalty. My name is Marlo Chinradford, if you want the full legal version, though I went by just Marlo Radford after the wedding. That's what Decker wanted. Sounds cleaner, he'd said. More cohesive for the brand. The brand. That's what our marriage was. A carefully curated Instagram story. Decker Radford owned 3 luxury car dealerships across Orange County. Bentleys, Rolls Royces, the kind of cars that make people stop and stare. He was handsome in that sharp-jawed, teeth-whitened, gym-obsessed way that screamed, I peaked in college but refused to let it go. 6'2", perfectly styled dark hair, eyes like chips of ice, beautiful until you realize they never quite warmed up, even when he smiled. We lived in a 7,000 square foot house with a view of the canyon, infinity pool, home theater, wine cellar stocked with bottles that cost more than most people's monthly rent. From the outside, we were golden. Golden. I met Decker at a charity auction in Newport Beach 5 years ago. I was 26, working as an event coordinator, barely scraping by in a studio apartment in Huntington Beach. He was 31, already successful, already magnetic. He bought a week in Cabo for $12,000, then asked me to go with him before he even knew my last name. You're different, he'd told me that night, his hand on the small of my back, his cologne expensive and invasive. You're real. I believed him. God help me, I believed every word. We married 18 months later in a ceremony that made the local lifestyle magazines. White roses. String quartet, 200 guests who mostly knew him, not me. He wore Vera-wing. He wore Tom Ford. We looked perfect, and for a while, maybe we were. The dismissiveness started small. A comment here, a sigh there, little paper cuts that didn't bleed, but stung all the same. Did you really need to talk that long? He'd ask after I'd chatted with a waitress about her daughter's soccer game. We're not here to make friends, Marlo. We're here to eat. Or, you're wearing that? Not cruel, just surprised, disappointed, like I'd shown up to a black tie event in sweatpants. I started choosing my words more carefully, dressing differently, laughing at the right moments, staying quiet at the wrong ones. His friends became our social circle. Brax, who sold real estate and talked about his numbers like they were scripture. Lennox, a venture capitalist with a watch collection worth more than my childhood home. Calder, who owned a chain of organic juice bars and wouldn't shut up about his cleanse. Their wives were polished, pleasant, and forgettable, except for one. Sloane. Sloane was married to Brax. She had this way of looking at you like she could see straight through the performance. Dark haircut and a sharp bob. Minimal makeup. She dressed like someone who didn't need to impress anyone. You okay? She'd ask me once, at a beach club in Laguna, while the guys pounded tequila shots and rated women walking by. Of course, I'd said automatically. Why? Because you smile like someone's watching. She'd handed me her mojito. And Decker talks to you like you're his assistant, not his wife. I'd laughed it off, made an excuse, changed the subject. But Sloane didn't let things go. Over the next 2 years, she became the only real friend I had in that world. Coffee dates that weren't about status. Texts checking in when I went quiet. She saw me, actually saw me. You deserve better, she told me more than once. You know that, right? Eat in not. Agree. Then go home to Decker and pretend everything was fine. It was a Saturday in late April when Decker announced we were hosting dinner. The guys want to come over, he'd said, scrolling his phone at the breakfast bar. Make that thing you make. The lamb. Not a request. A command. I'd spent the entire day preparing. Herb-crusted rack of lamb. Roasted fingerling potatoes with rosemary. Arugula salad with candied walnuts and goat cheese. Fresh sourdough from a bakery in Santa Monica. A chocolate torte that took 3 hours. The table looked like something out of Architectural Digest. Candles. Linen napkins. Fresh peonies in crystal vases. Decker walked through at 6:30, barely glanced at it, and said, "Looks good. Don't embarrass me tonight." Then he kissed my forehead like I was a child and went to shower. The guests arrived at 7. Brax and Sloan first. Then Lennox and his wife Petra. Calder showed up alone. His girlfriend was busy, which probably meant she'd finally gotten smart and left him. Sloan hugged me at the door. "This smells incredible," she said. "You didn't have to go this hard." "She loves it," Decker cut in, slinging his arm around my shoulders. My wife, the perfect hostess. His grip was tight, possessive. I smiled and nodded and took their coats. Dinner started smoothly. The lamb was perfect. The wine flowed. The conversation bounced between business deals and vacation plans and the new Tesla someone just bought. I refilled glasses, cleared plates, laughed at the right jokes. And then Decker asked me to pour him more wine. "Babe," he called from the head of the table. "Top me off." I picked up the bottle of Cabernet, $400, he'd mentioned twice already, and walked over. I poured carefully, slowly, the way you're supposed to. "Careful," he said, not looking at me. "You're shaking." I wasn't, but my hand tightened on the bottle anyway. "Actually," he said, and something in his tone made my stomach drop. "Let me show you how it's done." He stood, took the bottle from my hand, and smiled at his friends. "You gotta control the pour," he said. "Like this." He tipped the bottle over my head. Red wine. Cold, heavy, endless. Poured over my hair, my face, my dress. It soaked into my scalp. Dripped down my neck. Splashed onto the white marble floor in thick, dark puddles. The table erupted. Brax threw his head back laughing. Lennox slapped the table. Calder actually stood up to get a better look. "Phone already out." "Oh my God," Petra said, giggling behind her hand. "Decker, you're terrible." Sloan didn't laugh. Her face went white. "Decker?" "Relax, it's just a joke," he said, still holding the bottle, still grinning. "Come on, babe. Don't be so serious." I stood there, dripping, silent. Everyone was staring, waiting for me to cry, to yell, to react. I didn't. I set down the empty wine glass I'd been holding, wiped my face with the back of my hand, and walked out of the dining room, without a word. Behind me, Decker called out, "Babe, come on. It's just wine. Don't be dramatic." More laughter. Lighter now. Nervous. I locked myself in the guest bathroom, stared at my reflection. Wine dripped from my hair into the sink, red and relentless, like blood. My hands didn't shake. My chest didn't tighten. I felt nothing. No, that's not true. I felt clarity. I stayed in that bathroom for 20 minutes, long enough for the laughter to die down, long enough for someone, probably Sloan, to knock softly and ask if I was okay. "I'm fine," I'd said through the door, just cleaning up. When I finally emerged, half the guests were gone. Sloan was waiting in the hallway. "Marlo, I Rufine," he repeated. "You're not." She grabbed my wrist gently. "That wasn't okay. That was cruel. It's just Decker being Decker." "No." Her voice was sharp. "It's Decker being an asshole. And you don't deserve that." I pulled away, smiled. The same smile I perfected over 4 years. "Really? I'm Fine. She didn't believe me, but she let me go. Decker was in the living room with Brax and Lennox, laughing about something on his phone. When he saw me, he grinned. There she is, all cleaned up. I'm going to bed, I said. Already? Come on, don't be like that. I didn't respond, just turned and walked upstairs. He didn't follow. I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, wine still drying in my hair. And I made a decision. He wanted to humiliate me? Fine. But he had no idea what he'd just started. Monday morning, I woke up to 17 notifications. Decker was already gone. Early meeting at the Irvine dealership, he'd said. The house was silent except for the hum of the air conditioning and the distant sound of sprinklers on the lawn. I opened Instagram first. Mistake. Decker had posted a photo from Saturday night. The table, the candles, the perfect setup I'd spent all day creating. Caption. Wife went all out. Lucky man. The wine glass emoji. The laughing emoji. 300 likes. 47 comments. All variations of relationship goals. And she's a keeper, and when's my invite? My hand started shaking then. I switched to messages. Sloan had texted 3 times. Sloan, you awake? Sloan, I can't stop thinking about Saturday. That wasn't right. Sloan, call me when you can. Please. I didn't call. Instead, I scrolled to the group chat Decker had with his friends. The one he thought I didn't know about. The one I'd found a password to 6 months ago when he left his laptop open. I shouldn't have looked. I looked anyway. Brax. Dude, that wine thing was legendary. Lennox. I'm still laughing. The look on her face. Calder. Post a video, bro. Decker. Already got it. Check this. He'd posted a video. 23 seconds long. Me standing there, wine pouring over my head, face blank, while everyone laughed. He'd added text across the top. When your wife can't take a joke, biggest mistake was thinking she had class. Brax, Lennox, savage. Calder. She didn't even cry, though. Kinda cold. Decker. Trust me, she cried later. Always does. Brax, you're a menace. I sat there on the edge of our California King bed, staring at that video, watching myself get humiliated on a loop. He'd lied. I hadn't cried. Not once. But that didn't matter to him. He needed me to be weak. Needed his friends to see me as weak. I closed the phone, set it down carefully on the nightstand, and something inside me went quiet. Cold. Sharp. Tuesday afternoon, Sloan showed up at my door unannounced. I tried calling, she said when I opened it. You didn't answer. I've been busy. Busy or hiding? I let her in. We sat in the kitchen. The same kitchen where I'd spent 6 hours cooking for people who laughed while I dripped wine onto marble. Sloan didn't waste time. I need to tell you something, she said, and you're going to hate it. Okay. I saw Decker at Equinox yesterday. He was with Brax and Lennox. She paused, looked at me carefully. He was telling them about Saturday, bragging about it. Said you were overreacting and that pouring the wine was the funniest thing he'd done all year. My face didn't move. Marlo, what else did he say? She hesitated. He said you're too sensitive, that you can take a joke, that you're lucky he puts up with your moods. My moods. His words, not mine. Sloan leaned forward. I told him he was disgusting, that what he did was cruel and humiliating and not funny at all. You know what he said? What? He laughed, said I was being dramatic. And Brax and Lennox? They just stood there nodding along like brain-dead puppets. I poured myself water from the fridge. My hands were steady. Thanks for telling me. That's it. Sloan's voice rose slightly. Marlo, he's parading around the gym bragging about humiliating you. His friends think it's hilarious. And you're just, what? Fine with it. I didn't say I was fine with it. Then what are you going to do? I looked at her. Really looked at her. Sloan had been the only one who saw through the facade. The only one who'd ever asked if I was okay and actually waited for a real answer. I'm going to handle it, I said quietly. How? I don't know yet, but I will. She studied me for a long moment. Then she reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Whatever you need," she said. "I'm here. And if you want proof of what he's saying, how he's talking about you, I'll get it. I'm done watching him treat you like this." "You do that? Marlo, you're my friend. My real friend. Not some accessory in a group chat." "So yes, I do that." I nodded, squeezed her hand back, and the plan started forming. Slowly, carefully, like poison spreading through water. Over the next 2 weeks, I became a ghost in my own home. I smiled when Decker wanted me to smile, cooked when he wanted me to cook, laughed at his jokes even though they weren't funny, played the perfect, obedient wife. But when he left for work, I worked too. Sloan fed me information, screenshots from the group chat, messages I couldn't access because Decker had changed the password, photos from their gym hangouts, voicemails he'd left Brax complaining about me. "She's been weird since the dinner," one message read, like she's mad or something. "So dramatic." Another, "Honestly thinking about upgrading. You see that girl at the dealership? The new hire? Zero baggage." The new hire. Her name was Tinsley, 24, blonde, worked a front desk at the Calabasas location. I'd met her once. Sweet girl, complimented my bag. Now she was texting my husband at 11 p.m. Sloan confirmed it when she accidentally ran into Decker, a restaurant in Manhattan Beach. He was there with Tinsley, sitting close, hands on the table. She took a photo, sent it to me. "Sloan, I'm so sorry, but you need to see this." I stared at that photo for 5 full minutes. Decker was smiling at Tinsley the way he used to smile at me. Open, warm, real. I didn't cry. I opened my laptop and started digging. Decker wasn't as careful as he thought. Our finances were joint. His idea, back when he wanted to build our future together. That meant I had access to every account, every transaction, every shady transfer he thought I'd never notice. And there were a lot of shady transfers. $40,000 moved from the dealership operating account into a personal LLC I'd never heard of. Another $15,000 charged to the business card at luxury hotels. Receipts for jewelry I'd never received. He was either embezzling or spectacularly stupid with money. Maybe both. I downloaded everything. Bank statements, credit card bills, receipts, emails. Then I hired a private investigator. Not some TV drama character. A real one. Former LAPD. Specialized in infidelity and financial fraud. His name was Grayson, and he charged $300 an hour. "What do you need?" he'd asked during our first meeting at a coffee shop in Pasadena. "Everything," I'd said. "Affair proof. Financial discrepancies. Anything that proves he's lying." Grayson didn't ask questions. Just nodded. "Give me 3 weeks." He delivered in 2. Photos of Decker and Tinsley leaving a hotel in Santa Monica. Videos of them having dinner in Malibu. Text message records I'd subpoenaed through a lawyer. Turns out Decker had been deleting messages, but his phone carrier kept backups. And the financial records. Oh, the financial records. Grayson found the LLC. Found where the money was going. Offshore accounts. Cash withdrawals. Payments to Tinsley's rent. Payments to her car loan. He was funding her life with business money. "This is embezzlement," Grayson told me. "Clean. Provable. You take this to the authorities, he's done." "Not yet," I'd said. "Why not?" "Because I want him to lose more than money." Grayson had smiled then. A small, knowing smile. "You're scarier than you look." Good. 3 days before I execute my plan, Sloan called me. "I got something," she said, "and you're going to want to hear it." We met at her house in Newport Coast. Brax was traveling for work. Convenient. She pulled up a voice recording on her phone. "I was at Calder's birthday thing last week," she explained. "The guys were drinking. Got loud. I recorded this." She pressed play. Brax's voice. "Bro, you still have that wine video?" "Decker." "Oh, hell yeah. That's going in the vault. Future blackmail material." Laughter. Lennox. Dude, she didn't even react. That's what made it funny. Called her. Think she'll leave you? Decker. Marlowe? Nah. She's got nowhere to go. No real job. No money of her own. She needs me. More laughter. Brax. Cold-blooded. Decker. Just realistic. The recording ended. I sat there. Silent. Say something. Sloane said quietly. Can I have a copy of that? Already sent it to your email. I looked at her. This woman who'd risked her friendship with an entire social circle to help me. Who'd recorded her own husband's friends because she knew I needed proof. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me. Just promise me you'll destroy him. I will. Good. She smiled. Sharp. Satisfied. And when you do, I want a front row seat. I planned it for a Saturday. 6 weeks after the dinner party. 6 weeks after the wine. Decker thought we were going to Mastro's in Beverly Hills for date night. His favorite steakhouse. The place he always went to impress clients. Why the fancy dinner? He'd asked when I suggested it. Because I miss us. I'd lied. I want to reconnect. He'd smiled. Kissed my cheek. That's my girl. What Decker didn't know. I'd reserved the private dining room. Told him it was for intimacy. I'd invited 12 people. His friends. Their wives. His business partners. His parents. I'd hired an AV company to set up a projector and screen. And I prepared a presentation. We arrived at 7:30. Decker was confused when he saw the private room full of people. Surprise, I said sweetly. I thought we'd make it a party. He looked annoyed for half a second, then slipped into performance mode. Handshakes. Hugs. Babe, you're too much. Everyone sat. Appetizers came. Wine poured, not by me this time. Sloane was there, sitting next to Brax. She caught my eye and nodded once. At 8 o'clock, I stood up. Can I have everyone's attention? The room quieted. Decker looked up, smiling, expecting a toast. I want to thank you all for coming tonight, I said, especially on short notice. I know some of you are wondering why I planned this. Babe, I'm getting to it. I smiled at Decker, cold, sharp. See, 6 weeks ago, we hosted a dinner party. Some of you were there. It was a beautiful night. I cooked for hours, set the perfect table, played the perfect wife. Sloane's eyes were locked on me. And during that dinner, my husband poured an entire bottle of wine over my head in front of all of you. As a joke, the room went silent. Decker's face flushed. Marlowe, were you? I'm not done. I clicked the remote in my hand. The projector screen lit up behind me. And there it was, the video. 23 seconds of me standing there, dripping, humiliated, while everyone laughed. Decker's voice came through the speakers. When your wife can't take a joke, biggest mistake was thinking she had class. His mother gasped. I let it play twice. Then I switched slides. This is a text message from Decker to his friends. Sent 3 days after that dinner. Quote, she's been weird since the dinner. Like she's mad or something. So dramatic. Another slide. This is Decker at a restaurant in Manhattan Beach. With Tinsley, his employee, who we've been sleeping with for 4 months. The photo filled the screen. Decker and Tinsley. Close. Intimate. Clear. Petra whispered something to Lennox. Brack stared at his plate. And this, I said, clicking again, is financial records showing $40,000 embezzled from the dealership and funneled into an offshore account, along with $15,000 in charges for hotels, jewelry, and rent payments. For Tinsley. Decker stood up. You're insane. Seat. Down. My voice cut through the room like glass. He sat. I filed for divorce yesterday. I continued. I've also contacted the IRS and the Orange County District Attorney's office regarding financial fraud. They'll be reaching out to you next week, Decker. Oh, and I've already moved out. You'll find the house empty when you get home tonight. His face went white. One more thing. I played the audio. Sloane's recording. Decker's voice, clear and cruel. She's got nowhere to go. No real job. No money of her own. She needs me. The silence was suffocating. I looked at Sloane. She was smiling, not gloating, just satisfied. Then I looked at Decker's mother, whose face had gone pale, at his business partners, who were already calculating liability, at Brax and Lennox, who couldn't meet my eyes. "Enjoy your dinner," I said, and I walked out. Sloane followed 30 seconds later. Behind me, I heard chairs scraping, voices rising, Decker shouting my name. I didn't look back. The fallout was immediate. By Monday, Decker's business partners had filed an emergency audit. By Wednesday, the DA's office had opened an investigation. By Friday, Tinsley had quit and moved back to Arizona. But the part that destroyed him, the part one knew would hurt most, wasn't the money, wasn't even the divorce. It was losing his friends. Sloane told me everything. The group chat died the day after the restaurant. No one posted. No one responded. It just stopped. Brax distanced himself first. Legal liability, he'd told Sloane, can't be associated with someone under investigation. Lennox followed, then Calder. A month later, Decker showed up to their annual guys' weekend in Palm Springs, the one they'd been doing for 8 years, the sacred tradition. Brax opened the door, looked at him, looked past him. "Ooh, man, we're keeping it small this time." "What?" "Yeah, just, complicated, with everything going on." Decker stood there on the doorstep of a house he'd been to a dozen times, staring at friends who wouldn't meet his eyes. "Are you serious right now?" "Sorry, dude." The door closed. Sloane heard about it from Brax that night. She called me immediately. "He got turned away," she said, "like a stranger, like he never mattered." Good. The group chat's completely dead. No one mentions him anymore. When his name comes up, people just say, "Yeah, that was messed up," and change the subject. I didn't respond. "Marlo? You there?" "I'm here." "How do you feel?" I looked around my new apartment. 1 bedroom, ocean view, bought with money from the settlement my lawyer had secured. Quiet, clean, mean, free, I said. 6 weeks after the restaurant, Decker's texts finally stopped. But there was one voicemail I kept, one I listened to exactly once. His voice was broken. "Hello, Marlo. I know you're not going to answer. I know I don't deserve it. But I need you to know, I'm sorry. I didn't realize." A long pause. "I lost everything. The business. My friends. My parents won't talk to me. And you. I lost you." Another pause. Longer. "I thought humiliating you would make me look strong. Make them respect me more. I was so stupid. So unbelievably stupid." His voice cracked. "I poured wine on your head and thought it was funny. I thought you needed me. But you didn't. You never did. Static. I hope you're happy. I really do. Because I deserve this. All of it." The voicemail ended. I deleted it. A year later, I ran into Sloane at a farmer's market in Corona del March. She was alone, glowing, happy. "I left Brax," she said before I could ask. 3 months ago. Couldn't stand watching him be such a coward. Good. You were right. Walking away is the most powerful thing you can do. We grabbed coffee, talked for 2 hours, made plans to meet again. Real plans, real friendship. As we were leaving, she asked, "Do you ever think about him, Decker?" "Yeah." I thought about it. Really thought. "No," I said, "not anymore." And I meant it. Because here's the thing about revenge. It's not about making someone suffer. It's about showing them exactly who they are, what they're capable of, what they've lost. Decker poured wine on my head to humiliate me in front of his friends. In the end, he lost every single one of them. The business, the reputation, the life, and me. Some mistakes you never recover from. Some stains never wash out. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been underestimated, dismissed, or humiliated by someone who thought you'd never fight back, leave a comment, tell me your story, and hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, there are more stories like this coming. Stories about people who smiled through pain and came out stronger on the other side. Thanks for watching. And remember, never underestimate the quiet ones.